Is Jane from Ladies Vlogging, and today is December the 5th. Isn't our weather so changeable? Rain today. Well, what are we doing during December? During December, we're reading stories from the Advent calendar, aren't we? Oh, did you notice that in all the videos, if you look over my shoulder, you can see that I have in my room my elf on a shelf. So this is my elf on a shelf, and we'll talk about the elf on the shelf later. But she's a very good elf, because I'm trying to be very good during December because I get really excited about Christmas. So let's begin today then with our Advent calendar. Here we are. And what did I say the date was today? Oh yes, the 5th of December. Here we are. I wonder what the story is today. Now, if you have children, this is the time that you might want them to come and join us to listen to the story. I hope it's a story that's one of my favourites. Do you remember us talking about the word favourite? The things that you really, really like. And I've got quite a few favourite stories. Oh yes, I really like this one too. What a surprise. This story is called Peter Pan. Shall we have a look at the blurb on the back of the book? Yes, well, first of all, I need to make sure I have my reading glasses. Do you need anything to help you read? I need my glasses to make sure that I can read all of the words correctly. So, this is the blurb. Take part in an unforgettable adventure as Peter Pan takes on the evil Captain Hook in the enchanted world of Neverland. Or do you remember the story yesterday when I used the word villain when we were talking about the character that was going to cause some of the problems, and that sounds like it might be Captain Hook. And then we had the hero. Who was the hero yesterday? Oh yes, it was Aladdin, wasn't it? So I wonder if Peter Pan will be the hero. So, are you sitting comfortably? Then let's begin. Peter Pan. There was once a house in London where the Darling family lived. There were Mr. and Mrs. Darling and their 3 children, Wendy, John and Michael. Have you ever been to London? Look, that's London Bridge, isn't it? So, this house where the Darling family lived is the home that Peter Pan often visited. If you look at that character, Peter Pan, can you see it looks as though he's flying? I wonder if he can fly. One night, while the Darling children were sleeping, Peter Pan and his fairy friend Tinker Bell slipped into the nursery. Peter had left his shadow behind the last time he visited, and he'd come back to find it. Suddenly, Wendy woke up. "Peter Pan!" she cried. "I knew you'd come back." She had been keeping his shadow safe. Carefully, she sewed Peter Pan's shadow back onto his feet. Wendy explained to Peter that tonight was her last night in the nursery. "I have to grow up tomorrow," she said. "I won't have it," Peter cried. "Come on, we're going to Neverland. You'll never grow up there." "Oh, I'd quite like to be in a land where you don't have to grow up." So Wendy woke John and Michael so that they could come too. "But Peter," said Wendy, "how do we get there?" So how do you think they will get there, looking at what Peter Pan's doing there? Yes, they're going to fly. "Fly, of course," answered Peter. He sprinkled the children with Tinker Bell's pixie dust and told them to think happy thoughts. And soon they were flying out of the window. Peter, Tink and the children soared through the skies and finally spotted Neverland. "There's a pirate ship!" cried Michael. The captain of the pirate ship was Peter's greatest enemy, Captain Hook. Yes, we said he'd be the villain, didn't we? "Blast that Peter Pan," said Hook, as he studied a map of Neverland. "If I could only find his hideout, I'd trap him." He doesn't sound very nice, does he? Captain Hook got his name because he had a hook where his hand should have been. A hungry crocodile had bitten it off long ago and was still after the rest of him. Luckily for Hook, there was an alarm clock in the crocodile's belly that went tick-tock, tick-tock, so Hook could hear him coming. Can you see him there looking over the ship to see if he can see the crocodile? But luckily he can hear him. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Meanwhile, Peter Pan had taken Wendy to see the Mermaid Lagoon, but John and Michael had no interest in mermaids. They wanted an adventure with Peter's friends, the Lost Boys, and so off they all marched. As Peter was showing Wendy the Mermaid Lagoon. Mermaids, yes, there are the mermaids. Can you see their tails? They have tails instead of feet. Well, who do you think appeared? Yes, you're right. Suddenly he spotted Hook rowing by in a small boat. "I wonder what he's up to," Peter Pan said. When Peter Pan looked over the rock, he saw that Hook had a prisoner. Can you see there? He's got a prisoner tied up. That's Tiger Lily. So Peter Pan thought, I'd better fight to help Tiger Lily escape. So you can see there, he's fighting with Captain Hook and they're using swords. But look, can you see Peter Pan there? Captain Hook has a sword, but Peter Pan actually has a dagger. Look at the difference in the size of those weapons. I wonder who's going to win. Well, suddenly Captain Hook tumbled off the cliff. Well, I shouldn't laugh really, should I? Because that's not very nice. But I'm quite pleased that Peter Pan won, because I was getting a little bit worried that the weapon he was using was so small. Well, whilst that was happening, Wendy was at Peter's hideout and she was talking to her brothers because, you know, Wendy was quite clever and she knew that they couldn't all stay at Neverland and soon they would have to go home. This happens over a few days, and every time that Peter Pan and Captain Hook meet, they fight. And we use the phrase clash swords, but Peter Pan's sword looks like a little dagger, doesn't it? That's because Peter Pan is much smaller than Captain Hook. So here we can see them again fighting, and Wendy and her brothers are cheering them on. Oh no, not again! Captain Hook loses his balance. Well, do you remember I said last time I was quite pleased that he didn't win the battle? That's because he's the villain. It's not because I don't like him. So Captain Hook fell overboard, and guess who's waiting in the water? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Yes, it's the crocodile. Well, hooray for Captain Pan, cried all the children, because they were really pleased that Peter Pan had won the battle, and now they were calling him Captain Pan because Captain Hook has been caught by the crocodile. So, do you remember me telling you that Wendy knew that they couldn't stay in Neverland, so they decided they needed to go home. Can you see the ship there, flying through the sky to get back to London? But back in London, Mrs. Darling found Wendy asleep by the window. "Oh, Mother, we're back!" cried Wendy. She told her parents all about their wonderful adventure in Neverland. Now, if you told your parents that you'd been off to an adventure in Neverland with Peter Pan and had been flying around, do you think they would believe you? Well, "I'm going to bed," announced Mr. Darling. But as he turned to leave, he noticed in the clouds, can you see there? He can see a ship. So that makes their story a bit more realistic, doesn't it? "Oh, you know," said Mr. Darling, "I have the strangest feeling I've seen that ship before, a long, long time ago when I was very young." And indeed he had. So if you find any stories of Peter Pan, you might want to find out all about his adventures. But for now, that's the end of our story for the Advent Calendar Stories for Ladies Vlogging. And tomorrow will be Thursday the 6th of December. So I'm going to try and persuade some more ladies to read the stories for us. I wonder who will read tomorrow's story. Bye now.